Hey everyone, it's Wendy Hutchinson with Alinea Life Coaching, and this is my July 2025 newsletter. The theme of my newsletter this month was radical acceptance, and I chose that because humanity is going through such an incredible and powerful time and shift right now. The frequencies on the planet are rising, and it's literally forcing everything false out of the energetic fields of humanity. So basically, what it's doing is as your light quotient rises, as you are holding and accessing higher light in your energy field, your your truth starts to rise. So anything that's false that you've been holding on to, false identities, false beliefs, holding on to anything that's not resonant with who you are as your authentic self is going to start to be challenged and peeled away or dissolved. So you might find really long-term friendships of like 20 years just no longer resonate anymore because, people change over time and not everybody stays the same. Some people stay the same, and that's fine. But you might be on a path of self-discovery and rediscovery of who you are as your authentic self, and you might be changing. And when you change and evolve and grow, what resonates changes also. All of a sudden, the people you hung out with and maybe partied really hard with in your 20s and 30s no longer feel like a match anymore. And so we're going through a lot of transitions that I've been talking about in my newsletters recently. It's a real paradigm shift, honestly, as we move forward. And I've found for myself, because nobody escapes this, even people who are doing a lot of deep inner work are constantly being confronted with things they need to release, right? And things they need to align with, quite honestly. So, my theme, radical acceptance, is really about learning how to just accept what is happening in your life and your reality. And then really be mindful of what you have control over and what you don't. Because so many people are throwing a lot of emotion and time and energy at external issues that they have no control over. And I find that that's not really serving them, and it's not really serving the people around them, because when you have really powerful convictions and opinions, you normally want to gather, circle the wagons, right? Bring everybody in and get everyone to align and believe what you believe. And honestly, every single person on the planet is allowed to have free will choice. People can choose what they align with. They can choose what their beliefs are, whether they're religious, spiritual, atheist. People can choose their path forward. People can choose what they invite in their life and what they let go of. And so as you raise your light quotient, your consciousness begins to expand and you're able to see from a higher vantage point. You have higher perspective around what's happening and unfolding in your life. And what I've noticed for me is I'm observing a lot of people who are unconscious continuing to make unconscious decisions, right? And it can be really frustrating, especially if you're interacting with them on a regular basis, because you're trying to access and live life from your heart, from authenticity, from truth. And people who aren't interested in doing their inner work are going to be just hanging out in a lower harmonic frequency. And that means that they are quicker to project their unhealed wounds onto you. They are quicker to flip you off. I was flipped off the other day by this young girl who was driving because I was coming to a stop sign and I stopped a little ahead of the line, so she just glared at me as she turned in front of me, flipping me off the whole time. And I thought, wow, yeah, Houston drivers are still Houston drivers, you know? Um, it's just been so interesting to observe. Also, as you raise your light quotient, you're less you're less judgmental and more accepting of what's happening. You're just like, oh, there you are, being yourself again, or a society at large is still very self-absorbed and you know, things are what they are, right? And so I found that the more I can embrace radical acceptance and and just be an observer, the less triggered I am. Nothing is personal, although sometimes things feel very personal, right? I get that, and I've been there myself, where someone is just gaslighting you, or someone was honking at the airport when I picked my parents up because they're 79. And so they were moving. We were all kind of slow to get in and close our doors. And this woman was just on her horn, like, oh my God. Like she was going to ram her car into my cars. That was the kind of intensity. But the old me, the unhealed version of me, would have got out of my car and got into it. I would have gone at it. But again, I've just become more of an observer and I thought, wow, she must be having a really hard day and she doesn't have a lot of coping tools. So she's just gonna like be extremely rude. And radical acceptance just is what it is. We don't always have to engage, when people are showing up as themselves consistently, because that's what happens. Um, we have a choice not to engage. We can just accept this is happening right now, but we always have a choice on how we respond. And sometimes that just means walking away or not answering the phone or the text and just choosing peace, you know, and love for ourselves over engagement and conflict, right? So we're going to see this huge amplification because our frequencies on the planet are rising. And as frequencies rise, to really coexist here in a very symbiotic way, we have to entrain with the energies of the planet. It's just energetic resonance. And that's why people are being really pressed right now to kind of shed density and to raise their vibration. But there's a whole demographic of people who absolutely won't. They are not interested in doing any inner work. They're not interested in having a higher um, or better reality for themselves. They're really comfortable in this bandwidth. And so their frequency is becoming very discordant in the energies of the planet. And so they're feeling super triggered right now. The people in this energetic bandwidth who really are resisting and fighting change and really fighting for the lowest common denominator in their human experience. And that's their right to do so. So again, radical acceptance, right? And so you may notice people in your sphere or people in your workplace or on the streets when you're driving are going to be more reactive. They're going to be aggressive. They're going to be angry because there's just such a huge vibrational discordance going on, you know, within them because the energies impact everything within us. They impact our moods, our sleep patterns, our energy. And so just try to keep your heart open, be kind, nurture yourselves, honor yourselves and what you need. And I hope you guys have a great day. And I'll see you guys next month. Thank you so much for being here. I just want to let you know real quick too that I do have spots available for one-on-one soul guidance coaching sessions. And I also offer very intensive energy and trauma clearing throughout your soul lineage. So that's really intense. But those sessions are available as well. So check out my website. I'll put a link on my newsletter. And I hope you guys have an incredible day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.